Internet Explorer யூஸ் பண்றாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். Okay, the recording has started. You can proceed with it, Shanda.
Thank you. Hello everyone, good afternoon. So today we are going to see about the Microsoft Power Platform. We are going to just look for an overview, and we will see how we can get started with the Microsoft Power Platform. So get started. What are we going to see today is why do we need to go for Microsoft Power Platform? What are the objectives? And what are all the different components and features that helps us, in get our apps or flows or whatever the business needs that we have to meet. So how we can achieve it. So we are going to see about an overview of each and every component, and we are also going to see a quick and very short demo, or how we are going to get started with that. And we'll discuss all the questions in the last few minutes of the session. And please feel free to post your questions in the chat window if you have any in the middle of the session, so we can discuss them as well. So initially, we want to see why do we need to go for the Microsoft Power Platform? So after all, we are all having the business needs everywhere. Even if I'm going to start a particular, I want to facilitate my own business need, or if I want to say, for example, I want to send and work from home email, which I don't want to send every time, opening Outlook and do it. So I want to automate that process. Or if I want to create my own application just to facilitate the work that I have been doing it every time, or to track information, or get some data and do some analysis. So all these can be done by Microsoft Power Platform. So we all know, this can be done by a number of platforms, sir, a number of applications, or a number of networks or frameworks are available to achieve this. So why do I need to specifically choose Microsoft Power Platform? Is because it is a low code, no code approach. Being a citizen developer, I do not want to spend time in learning a particular language, or making myself comfortable in a technology, be it .NET or any other, learn a particular tool and then start with it. We need not do that at all as of now. We will just go into the Microsoft Power Platform components, log into this, and we will just get started with the short tour guide, or we can just get started without even any assistance or guidance. So the development time is being minimized to the extreme, and we can spend our quality time in somewhere where we will need human interventions. So with this, when we want to develop an application, it's not going to be the requirements are just going to be stable, where we had the traditional waterfall model. It's going to be agile, and it's going to change frequently. And with that, so our apps should also be updated and maintained. We have to support it every time, there is a change. So with that, and also if we want to automate a particular business activity, which we are going to do it repetitive times, so then we will go for creating a flow that can automatically do that in place of us. And similarly, if you have huge data and you want to analyze something, so you can make use of one of the Power Platform components, and you can get the charts and the visualizations data from which you can get the insights. So what we have to do is we just have to analyze our need, what needs to be done or how needs to be done, and then we will act upon it, creating a Power App or creating a flow to automate, and then we will proceed from there. And apart from this, if you want to create your own website, that is also possible with the Power Platform. So with all these, how we are going to get these done, so let's see that in detail. So the next is the Power Platform. So when you say Power Platform, all those objectives that we have seen earlier, how they are going to get achieved is based on different Power Platform components. You can create your own automated workflows to reduce the manual effort, or you can create your own application via Power Apps, and you can create your own reports via the Power BI. And the next two important parts is Power Virtual Agent, where you can create your own chatbots, to see with the to meet with the customers, or answer the questions with the customers, or make the surveys. So everything can be done by the Power Virtual Agent. Finally, there is an additional component, which is the Power Pages, that is very new and it's in the preview stage from Microsoft, and we can use it to create our own websites. These are the different Power Platform components that these are bundled together and called it as Power Platform. To facilitate these, we need a few features, to work on this. So Power Platform component cannot work alone because, it will need data. It will need to integrate with other applications if we already have that in hand. So these features should be facilitated by the three underlying features here, like the AI connectors, the Dataverse, and the AI builder. So we are going to see each and every feature in detail. So, but in short, Dataverse is like, of course, we need a database for our application, and AI builder. Yes, everything is like, now moving to artificial intelligence. So we are going to use that. And the AI connectors, like, where the Power Platform can integrate with the other applications via these connectors. So these are the components and features which we are going to focus on today, and how we will get started with each and every one of those. So as we said, the features, like, the main and central component is the Dataverse, which is the database, and the other features are like, the connectors and the AI builders here. So when you want to see about the Dataverse, so what we want to see is like every environment, say for example, in the Power Platform or in any traditional approach, we are going to have environments like dev environment, staging and production and UAT and whatnot. So each and every environment, we are going to have a particular instance of a Dataverse. So what is a Dataverse? It's like, it stores data and it manages data, everything in the cloud, and with a secured, data storage there. So with each environment created in the Power Platform, each environment will have an instance of this Dataverse where it has a collection of tables already. So if you want to create an app, definitely there's going to be huge data where you have to design the database and, create tables, components, establish relationships, and you want to add, security there, IDs, primary keys, so everything you have to set it and you have to insert the data there. What if a database is already created there and be available for you? So that is Microsoft Dataverse. It has a number of tables which is already built. Say, if you're going to create an app and if you want customers and you want to store the customers' details in a table, you already have a table there called as contacts or accounts. Those are the tables that are already defined, like how you have the tables in the SQL Server or any other database. There will be a collection of tables which can be referred and which can also be customized to use in your in favor of your application. If you want, you can create your own table also, but that is again like a repetitive task. So instead, using the same tables in the Microsoft Dataverse, whatever is applicable for us will really help here. So when we say Microsoft Dataverse, so the first thing is like, will it be secure? So of course, it's being secured with the Microsoft authentications. So it's in the cloud, but still the Microsoft Dataverse is actually a global development, but it has been deployed geographically with different servers in different regions of the world. And we have the security assured from Microsoft here. So after security, what we want to think about is like, let's talk about the data. So how we want to store data is like, we will have data validations, of course, each and every, even if we are developing a form, it's going to be a data validation there. So what are the different models that we are going to choose? So all those are already defined in the Dataverse. You can make use of the pre-built ones or you can customize as well. That is an additional feature there where it is like, offline data availability, which is also facilitated. Say, if there is a field service app, like, you have a network service provider or, you have an app where, technicians go to the field and, you can work there. So at the time, if there is no network available, so that the data can be stored offline, and when there is a network, it can be synced. So this is also facilitated by the Microsoft Dataverse. And when this comes to data, it can be stored in the form of a structured or unstructured data, or databases. You can store any kind of data, in the related tables there. And you can also define the relationships. If this is like one to many or many to many, so whatever the type of relationship is, and you can proceed from there. And when we talk about the logic layer, So here, when you have an application like, where people can enter data and you want to create calculated fields, or, you can roll up the fields, or you have to set some business rules. Say, for example, you are creating a flow, which is like, or creating an app which requests a particular flow, then you can create business rules, like if this particular data is entered, or if the amount is greater than this, you can flow to a particular branch there. So all these business rules can also be defined with the Microsoft Dataverse. And finally, Dataverse is not only being integrated with Microsoft Power Platform, like, whatever the data we have it in the Dataverse can also be integrated to other applications, such as like, Azure Event Hub or Service Bus, where the events can be created in the Microsoft Dataverse and then they can be used in the Event Hub, as well as if there is any message protocols, so that can be integrated with the Service Bus as well. And of course, we will have, if we already have an application which is already having a SQL Server and you don't want to move all the data to Dataverse, it can directly integrate as well. So we need not worry about duplicating the work or duplicating the whole database into the Dataverse thing. So this is all about the Microsoft Dataverse, which is acts as a central hub for the Microsoft Power Platform components. So among the three features, so we have seen the centralized Dataverse. The next is the connectors. So what do you say is called as a connector? Like, I have a Microsoft Power Platform component, say I have an application in Power Apps, but I already maintain an external application, my own application somewhere, and I do not want to replicate data there. Like, I just want to use the data from that particular application in the Power App or the Power Automate flow that I create. So how do I make this connection? It's like we have the connectors already. Let's say I have an SQL Server database. So definitely, that's going to be an API that is defined. So if that API is available, the Power Platform components can directly connect with the API and then get access to the data. This connection can be established via the Microsoft Power Platform, where you have the connector section where you can create a connection and you can also log in with the required credentials to make the connection to that particular API. So why do we need to, we know like why do we need to use connectors, but how do we use the connectors is like n number of pre-built connectors are already available in Microsoft. Say SharePoint, Office 365, Excel, or even OneDrive. Like, we are all using OneDrive to store all our documents now. If there is a need, like, I have a document in OneDrive, or whenever, like, I have a OneDrive folder, and whenever there is a document being available there, I need to use that and send it as a report. Or whenever I receive an email with a particular attachment or from this particular person, then I will need to automatically store that particular document to the OneDrive. All these can be done with making connection from the Microsoft Power Platform to this OneDrive. If you have made the connection, and then you can use the Power App or the Power Automate to do such tasks. So even if you have an API in the cloud, or even if you have it in your on-premises network, now mind, like, we are always going to make the connection with the requested token, and we will then get into the data. Say now, okay, these are all for, the existing applications like SQL servers, we are all known worldwide. But how do we connect to an application like my own application or a customized application, which I have created earlier? So we have the custom connectors. Though Microsoft has like 600 plus connectors already there, if I have a different application and I cannot use those existing connectors, I can create my own custom connector. So how do I do that is, say now anyway, I have an application, or, I have a database. So what I do is I create an API to access this. So, always, custom connector is called as a wrapper around the API. So what I do is I will first build my API with the requested secure authentications, like, I can use the Azure Active Directory, or you can use like, simple basic authentications or API keys. So any kind of authentication I'll be adding, and I will create my own secure API. Once the API is created, I will have to define it either it's like a Postman collection or, as an open API definition. So I will have to have a definition for this API so that the connectors can, talk with the API and get the requested data. Once this API is all done and, I have secured it and I have defined it, I'll go to the Microsoft Power Platform and I will create the connection to this API. I will provide the requested details such as, what kind of authentication or, how you're going to connect it. And then finally, you test the connections as well. If the test connection has succeeded, then we can use that particular connector in our application, say Power Apps or Power Automate, or anywhere else. Like it's vice versa. Like, if you are creating a connector in Power Apps, you can also automatically create it and automatically use it in Power Automate. And then if I'm like, my whole organization is going to use that connector for their own purpose. Say, for example, like, I have a connector with the Microsoft Dataverse, or, I have a connector with my own OneDrive or, a common shared network point. So if CA has a network point, so, I have a connector to that. I can share that connector to my other users in the organization as well, and they can use for their own purpose. And then when you want to create, if you want to give your connector to the entire users of the Power Platform, that alone, it requires a Microsoft certification. We will follow a set of standard procedures there. And if it is certified, then we are free to publish it. So these or have the different connectors there. These are all about the different connectors. The third and final feature, what we are going to see is the AI builder. So of course, we are introducing artificial intelligence to every application. So we want to do that in the Power Platform as well. So Microsoft has facilitated that too. Say example, like, HR people in our team, like, if they want to collect the information from every employee and store it in a database, it's going to be, if it is a manual process as of now, they can definitely use the AI builder connectors here. I mean, AI builder feature here. So for example, we have the form processing. So whenever there is a form and, it is going to be filled by the employees, and, we have the AI builder which scans the form and it will extract and store the information in a particular database there. Of course, we can use the Dataverse here to store it. Similarly, if you want to do a sentimental analysis, based on customer feedback, everything can be done with the text classification here. There is also an additional feature in the AI builder, like, for the business card reader as to. So, if even if the employees are submitting just the business cards, like, we can extract the information and we can store it in directly to the Power Apps as well. That can be integrated too, because AI builders can be integrated with the Power Apps and Power Automate too. So, if I'm going to scan it and then I'll fetch the information, and what I will do is I'll take that information, put it in a Power App, or put it in a Power Automate flow, and I can send emails to the particular higher management too, or the HR people too. So these are all the different things that can be done with AI builder. So we are saying, like, a number of AI builders which is already there. Microsoft gives you pre-built models, or you can create your own custom model too. There are certain models which is in the preview stage, or, if you need a particular licensing as well. But for example, document processing, we don't need a license, like, we can directly use it in our own flows. So common data service, I mean, which is modernly called as the Microsoft Dataverse, is also integrated with all these models, and you can make use of it. So with the features done, so let's focus on the Power Platform components. So as I said, like, we have the components as Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents, and the final Power Pages. So let's start with Power Apps. So in this world, like, everything is like, it's going on with the app, like, without our smartphones, or, we are using n number of apps with our smartphones. So if you want to create your own application, like, it's not going to be difficult, or, it's going to be done in minutes. So Power Apps, it gives you the low code, no code platform gives. So you can build the apps without any, like, coding knowledge, or you need not be facilitated with any tool at all. You just need to know what needs to be done, and how it needs to be done is taken care by the Power Apps. So we just need to know, like, what needs to be achieved, or, you can focus on the main objective instead of how good your app is. So we have two different types of Power Apps. So one is the Canvas apps. So as you see the word Canvas, yes, like, it's like designing. So for example, I want to store, all my employee details in a particular app. I need not use an Excel, or, don't want to create insert scripts in my database. I just create a Canvas app. I'll fetch the details from the Excel as of now, whatever is existing, and then I can place it there. All users in my organization can use it if I'm giving them the requested, or the required security privileges. They can edit their own record, and also they can delete it, like, if it is allowed. And if there is any new record, that can also be added. So we need not go for an traditional application where we need to store all the employee details. Say if I want to store the employees with their designation and the number of years of experience, like, I can share it with the directly with the Canvas app. We will see a short demo about it in the later part of the section. If I don't want to, the only thing disadvantage here is Canvas apps, even though they have a particular UI, we will need to more focus on the UI there, like, how the gallery is going to be shown, how the records are going to be shown, how I'm going to edit it, or how the image of an employee is going to be shown. So we will need to give some importance to the UI there. But with model driven app, like, I did not know that. So model driven app, like, it's exclusively with the components. So you say there is a huge app and you just want to know about the components. Say, it's a retail app. So what you want to do is, you have the customers, you have the invoices, you have the orders, you have the purchase, you have the products. So all these are different tables. So all these are like different components. So you will just define the components, what needs to be done, and then Power Apps itself decide, like, how it is being shown in the UI. Like the forms, the views, quick create forms, everything is already available in Power App. You just need to have the tile in there in your app, and that's all you are done. You need not focus on the design of the application at all. This is the main difference between the Canvas app as well as the Power App. You can create an end-to-end solution for the model-driven app. So we will see some of the use cases. When do you want to use Power Apps? Like, if you want to use a leave management system. So if you want to, there is a leave management system, employees can directly enter their leave management, or the records there, and we can use it. Or if it is mainly, it's for a field service. So if the technicians are going to the fields to do the services, give the articles, or take some equipment, so everything is being tracked by a Power application. And as I said, they can work in offline, and later they can sync up with the cloud, and we can get the data there. So similarly, asset management, like, of course, we all have laptops and instruments, or, accessories, computer accessories, all that. So these asset managements can also be done by Power App. If I have an app, and, I can have my own laptop, or, keyboard. So everything is mapped in an Power App. So whenever, if I'm returning to office, or if I'm taking it from office, I can add it there. So these are all the different examples, or, use cases of Power Apps. Many clients are being actively using it, are actively using it now. Say, for example, like, if they want to know their customer, they are creating the Power App for getting the surveys, getting the customer insights, and they are proceeding from that. So very important decisions, they can take it, via the Power Apps as well. Now, that is also one more example, which is the attendance management, which is used by one of the leading providers as well. So here they, if you want to return to your workplace, you need not go in person. You can just use an application to make sure, like, the attendance is there. So these are all the different use cases as of now, people are using, and we can also use like one of these use cases here in our own need. So the next component, as so we have seen Power Apps. So the next component is Power Automate. So which is like, it's like pretty easy, like, It's just to automate the repetitive business processes that what we are going to do in daily life. Like I said, like if you want to send a work from home email, you can have the Power Automate application in your mobile, and you can send it in a single click if you have already defined and configured it. So when it comes to Power Automate, we have we term the uh, automation flows is called as like the Power Automate flows. We term them as flows. So we have three different types of flows actually. One is the cloud, second is the desktop, and third is the business process flow. So normally, like, everything is from the cloud, right? Like, whatever you want to do, you can do it from the cloud. Like, as we said, Microsoft Power Platform is especially for the business needs. The Microsoft Power Automate gives a number of template there. You need not create your own flow at all. There is a template which says, hey, I have a document that is coming from an email and I just need to store it in OneDrive. The template is already there. You just need to specify the OneDrive folder, and also you just need to specify the email configuration, and just need to make sure the connections are valid, like whatever we have seen earlier, like the Dataverse connection or the OneDrive connection or the Microsoft Outlook connection. All these connections needs to be set, and we are all good to go. So these are the cloud flows. The cloud flows can be triggered as a manual with a single click, or it can be a scheduled one, or it can be an automated one, like whenever an email arrives, or whenever an email with attachment arrives, or whenever there is a file in the OneDrive folder. So those are automated. Scheduled is like the jobs or the flows run every at a specific time, and it's recurrent. And manual is like when you click on it with a single click. Similarly, we have the desktop flows, which is the second part. So it's like you want to have, like, how do we have the other tools like, UiPath or Catalan, like, whatever the different set of actions, you have the Power Automate desktop, and there you will have n number of actions to facilitate, like, what are all the different automation activities to be done, reading a CSV, reading an Excel, converting Excel to PDF, or any such activity can be done with the Power Automate desktop. So there is a connection between the cloud and desktop. So what if you want to start with the cloud and you want to invoke a desktop flow? So you have a specific application for it, and yeah, you have a specific application for it, and you can register the machine. Let's say, for example, I have my own machine. So what I will do is I'll register my machine in a particular environment. What we have seen, like Power Platform has a number of environments, and then once I have registered, so I can create a cloud flow, I can create a desktop flow and make this connection using this. So this is also one of the connector, like connecting to a machine is called as a desktop flow. So that connector is also can also be used here. So that those desktop flows can deal with any number of applications or files or emails there. So what if I have created a cloud and I have created a cloud flow and I have created a desktop flow and I have connected, and it's all good running in my own system. So that's the development machine. What if I need to deploy it to the other? So like how we do for deployment for the other traditional approaches or, other technologies. So here we will bundle it as solutions. The terminology is solutions, where it can bundle like the cloud flows, desktop flows, any connections, any number of connection references, tables, I mean the database tables, of course. So all these can be bundled as solution, and these can be uh, exported and imported to the dev or QA, UAT or production environments. So that's how the deployment is being carried on. And as we said, like, this is for automating the processes, and we already have one of the use cases for this too. So this is CI is like, one of the clients, like they want the reconciliation task that they have been doing manually every month. They need to gather data from n number of external sources. They need to manipulate the data, and then they need to create the report and send an email. So this they have to do it every month for like, for 9 to 10 reports. So it's it's very difficult to do it manually every time, because the data validation is also important there. So there might be problems in manual errors, or, if the input is not ready, or, if there is any technical difficulty, it was so difficult. So our solution that we have provided is we will automate the entire process, like, taking the input, gathering the data and then manipulating the data if we need, and then generating the Excel or the PDF report, and even sending them to an email. So till that, we have automated it via Power Automate. So we have created the Power Automate solution with all the cloud and desktop flows, because of course it's a banking client, so they want security to be done. So they don't want everything to be moved to the cloud. So they want everything in the desktop flows. So we have the cloud flow, which calls the desktop flow, which performs the action, bundle it as solution, and we deploy it to the other environments as well for their use. Talking about this, like, what if it's going to run it in an environment, so in production environment, we don't want any human intervention there. So we want the flows to run in an unattended mode where there will be no active user session at all in a particular machine. So like how we host our applications in a server, we will deploy that solution in a particular environment, and we will connect to the desktop, I mean, a machine where nobody, where no one logs in. And then automatically the flows run in the machine and just send an email to the management or the IT people who need those reports. We have also given an integration with their own job scheduling application as well. So as we have a number, Power Platform itself exposes a number of APIs. So, with APIs and the Microsoft Dataverse, we have made sure, like, the integration is done in their job scheduling app as well. And we have also provided the necessary security and administration, and also the alerts and monitoring. So all these are provided, and it's in production now. The third component we are seeing is the Power BI. It is the most interesting one because it's can be done in minutes. So we have the data, we have the application, we have the flows, everything is there. But what do we analyze, and how do we take important decisions based on the data? So we need not spend, we know, like, Excel like functions, like, we can create pivot tables, we can create charts in Excel, and then we can get, but to see those reports also, like, we need to send that Excel report to someone else, right? So we need not do that anymore. So what do we do is, I'll have a Power BI desktop. So where I will import my data, be it in Excel or anything, or, even it's in a data sources or SQL Server. I'll import the data. I'll create the charts, dashboards, reports, and whatever the tiles that I need. I'll have it. I'll publish it so that I can see it in the second component, which is the Power BI service, which is in the cloud. And then I will also deploy it into Power BI mobile. So the higher management who actually needs the report need not even log in. Like, he can have the Power BI mobile where he can see the reports and take the important decisions based on the data. This is completely for data insights. So these are all there are n number of visualizations in the sense, like, pie charts, line charts, or maps, whatever you see here, like, the actual values that they need to see instead of digging it through a lot. So it's very easy. It also gives a lot of filters, slicers, and transforming data. So everything can be done by the Power BI desktop here. So for example, transform the data in the sense you have imported the data, but you cannot use it as such. You just have to do some manipulation. There's some transformation of data there, or a sales data is like, you cannot use it as such. You have to do some manipulations there, or you have to arrange it in a different way so that the reports are created in a beneficial way. So these are all done by the Power BI. We'll see a short demo for that too. And now we have the Power Virtual Agents. So chatbots are now used in every application. So for example, like, the network service providers now, if we want to raise a request, earlier we used to call their number. Now it's like everything is in the chatbot. So how the chatbots work? So, a number of customers have the service request to the service desk, but as it grows and grows, so, they are going to replace it. They replaced it with the chatbots. So the chatbots can take up the questions and do the necessary actions. And if really requires a human intervention, then it can route it to the human people there. We can create our own chatbots in minutes with Power Virtual Agents. For that, you need a specific I mean, even if two human are in conversing, like, they need a topic to discuss. So same way, if you want to talk to a chatbot, you need a specific topic which is defined by some of the key phrases, like, hey, my internet is not working, or I have a bill related query. So these are all the different phrases that are defined there. And of course, we have different entities like, what is your phone number, what is your connection number, or, how it is there. So these are all different entities. Those can also be identified by the chatbots. And after the topic, based on the topic, it will route it. And after we get the required entities, and then it will start the actions, which is like, it can even call Microsoft Power Automate Flow to do a specific action. All these are done by natural language understanding. That's how it goes. So with that only, like, the Power Virtual Agents are built. The final element is the Power Pages, which is from Microsoft. It's like, it's very new. It's in the preview stage. I'll just say that, earlier Power Apps had like Canvas apps, model driven apps, as well as Power Apps Portal. So now the Power Apps Portal is just termed as Power Pages with the integration with the Microsoft Dataverse. So with this, we have the Power Pages Design Studio, where you have specific workspaces where you can create your own web pages, and you can add the styles and data, because it uses the Bootstrap, so you need not even more concentrate on the styling as well. So we can rapidly design the websites, and you can also publish it, and you can have it on go. Of course, we are going to get built. It's going to get changed with every day, but changing it and creating a new website is going to be very easy. So now, when we say Power Pages, like, people might get like, why do I need to go to the Power Platform? Like, instead, I can develop my own, because, I'm already a pro developer there. So of course, a citizen developer can create, a simple website with Power Pages. But if you are a pro developer, and, if you are really, focused on the coding that you need to do, so then you can integrate with VS Code, or, you can have the ALM integration tools as well. And of course, there is also administration activities that needs to be done in all the Power Platform components, actually, for giving the authorization based on roles or based on teams in which we are. So with this, I'll stop sharing now, and we will see a short demo for each and every component. It's going to be short, so it's just to get started. So okay. So the first component we saw is like, the Microsoft Power Apps. So as we said, there is a Canvas app and there is a model driven app. So you can create a blank application, or you can create it based on Dataverse, or you can based on SharePoint or Excel, or whatever connectors you want. So I have created just, from one of the data sources, like, I have created a Canvas app and model driven app. And I'm seeing like people have tried it a lot as well. So as you can see here. So what I have done is I have a employee details. This is an Excel worksheet which has a table. So with that, I am going to, I have imported that Excel, and what I did is, once it is imported, like, the Power Apps automatically, gives you a component, like, the gallery component, the details, and, how do you edit it. So all these components are already designed by Power Apps on seeing your data itself. It will not wait for you to do each and every UI. But still, if you want to add a particular UI, or, you have to design it in a better way, then you can use it as well. Sorry for the delay for the loading. Canvas apps, as you said, like, it's very pretty simple, and you can do it in minutes without knowing, like, what needs to be done, or if it's very urgent to do it. So I've just imported an Excel where I have people's name, the designation, the experience, and everything. So with this, I did not create this at all. So I just imported the Excel. And once I imported the Excel, I got this entire screen, which is the browse screen, where I have all these list of records. And I have the details screen, which, I'll have it. And I have an edit screen with all the details. Say, just I can do some of the manipulations as well. Say, I have the years of experience, I can just concatenate it with years. Or if there is a price item that is going to be here, and if there is a particular discount or something, like, you can do the manipulations there as well. So the calculated fields can be introduced here. if I play the app, so this is my grid, and if I click on this, I will have the entire detail. And if I'm going to change something, and I can click on save. So once it is saved, okay, I'm going to requested source is logged. I'm sorry, I have the Excel open. So it's based upon the Excel. So once it is saved, I'll be able to see the updated value here. That's it. So I've done with the canvas with just importing an Excel. I just need to make sure, I can place it here. If I want a different layout, I can choose from here. Like I just want the title and subtitle to be there. I don't want the image. Then I can directly change it here and be done with it. That's it. This is the Canvas Power App. So if so this is like I design some of the things like, here and there. So what if I want to do a model driven app? Like, I will not concentrate on how the UI is going to be rendered at all. Like, the responsive app, like I will not be concentrate on. So what I do is I have created a model driven app where it's entirely dependent on the Dataverse. So how I do is I just make sure like a model driven app is created based on Microsoft Dataverse. So there are mainly two tables in the Microsoft. I'm just saying, considering two tables there, like one is the account and the other is the contact. So I can create different forms. So this is how my app will be shown. And, I can see like, a number of accounts, or, I can save it directly. I can add a number of forms here. If I want to add a quick view, or if I want to have, the main form, whatever the forms that I can add here. Or also like, I can add the fields, or, remove the fields as well. It's like, whatever I can do. So this is like one of an example of the model driven app. So next we will move to we will see a example with Microsoft Power Automate and the AI Builder. So AI Builder, as we all know, it's integrated with both Power App and Power Automate. So you can explore a number of AI builders here. Like, as I said, like, the document processing, text classification, the invoice processing. So I've chosen an example of invoice processing here. So what I did is, I have the document processing. Yeah. So I have the document processing. So what I have to do is, if I click on get started, so what it asks for me is, give me a sample of documents to train the AI model. So what I do is, say for example, I have a number of invoices from my network service. So what I did is, I had all those invoices. I chose a type, like, it's going to be a structured document, and I just need to give a collection of documents there. Say, for example, I just need a field to be taken out from those. Say, for example, I just have an invoice amount. So I have an invoice amount, and I just want to use that. I want to fetch that from all those documents. To train the AI model, I just need to give a collection of documents. Okay, so what are all the different? I just need to give at least 5 sample documents for it to train the model. So I'll just add 5 different invoices from the past, like, in the year of 2018 or 2017, I just added it. And then I tag the documents, tag the document in the sense, like where the invoice amount is there. For each and every document, I'll point out where the invoice amount is available, so that it will know, like, this particular field, is going to be available from this particular position. So that's how it gets trained. And finally, I'll have the summary, and I'll be done with that. So I'm not creating now one, because, I have already created it. So once I create the AI model, I will just test it once, just to check, if everything goes well. And then I'll integrate it with Microsoft Power Automate or Power App. So I have, yeah. Okay, good. So this is the model that I have already created yesterday. So as we all know, we have to create a model, and then we have to publish it, and then we'll be able to see it, use it in the Power Automate or Power Apps. So this is my model. I have a good accuracy score of 80%. That should be there. I can integrate it with this. So in the Microsoft Power Automate, as we want to see the demo for the Power Automate as well. So what I do is, say I just clicked on Power Automate to use the model, and it got created automatically with one of the templates here. So Power Automate already gives me a template where, I can use the form processing model to extract documents. So how this works is, whenever there is a document in OneDrive, whenever there is a document that is created in a file, whenever there is a file is created, automatically it extracts the information based on the AI builder, and then it sends an email to me. So this is how, it's created. So what I do is I just create connections based on my OneDrive. So as I said, without connectors, we cannot do anything. So we need to create connectors and establish the connection so that, it points to the right one. So I need connect, for example, like this flow needs connection for my OneDrive. This flow needs my connection for the Office 365 to get my profile and get my email ID. And this also needs connection to the AI builder as well, so which is automatically there. So these different connections, I need to create it. It will automatically, ask you to create the connection when you start the flow itself, and it will be done. So this is with Microsoft Power Automate integrated with AI builder. The third is the Power BI. So as you said, Power BI desktop, we have a separate desktop app. So what I have done is I've created a Power BI desktop. I have installed the Power BI desktop, and what I did is I imported a data source, and I created my own dashboard and reports. So once I created, I just published it so that it is available in the Power BI. Please, it's a very simple report that I just want to show. So whatever the Excel that we have imported in the Power App, so the same Excel I have used it here. So it just has the employee name and designation, and you have a number of reports that is generated. You need not, specifically go to the Power BI desktop and edit it. You can also edit here as well if you really need it. And then the data set also is being exported here, so you can automatically do it. Once this is all created, and it can be published or it can be used in the Power BI mobile where the higher management can do. So this is my data set where I just have the Excel with all these. So employee table is what I have, and I have the number of fields here. So this is how the data set and the reports are being shown in the Power BI. Now we will see the virtual agent. This is the fourth component. So I did not do anything, like it's just a bots panel. So, I'm not sure why it's not here. So, okay. So I just created a, default bot, whatever is shown. So as I said, the topics, the actions, everything. So for example, if I say hi, it's gonna give me a number of things. So if I'm gonna click on it, so how it works, so how the Power Virtual Agents works is because it has a number of trigger phrases there. So these are all the trigger phrases. Based on these trigger phrases, it will give this particular message. Say if I want to this is just an inbuilt example given by Microsoft. All these are from Microsoft. I'm just using like what are the keywords that say I used it. So, okay, let me choose this. So with each and every thing, so you can see the topics here, like, whatever is being happening here. Yes. Okay. So I have just done a conversation and I've created a feedback here. So if I click on this, so we will know what are all the different conditions shown here. See, this is how the agent is created. We can create our own with all these questions and so. So based on the answers, it's going to show me the particular message. So this is the coding that has been done. And based on this flow, the chatbot works. So this is the how easily the Power Virtual Agents can be created. And the Design Studio is like the Power Pages Design Studio. So this is the website creator. And I just opened up one particular template, used a sample template, and I just gave the URL here. So just have the website created in minutes. If I want to change something like, for example, the pages were there, which is like, I can rename it here, or I can page settings or whatever is there. I'll create as products new. So that's all. So once if you change it here and if you're going to sync it here, automatically, like, earlier it is products, now it's going to be changed as products new. So creating websites is that easy now. final thing with all these Power Platform components, the Power Platform Admin Center is where you have the environments, like how I talked earlier about the environments, like, the staging, production, or even you can have trial environments to do it. All the administration is being carried out in the Power Platform Admin Center. And here you have the n number of roles like administrator or security roles. I mean the administrator or a basic reader. So there are different types of security roles that needs to be already there. If you want to create your own, you can also create your own. So with this only, like you can make sure your app is being edited by someone or automated by someone. And so, for example, if you want to share a flow, like you can share a flow to a particular user with a co-owner access or user access. So user can just use the app, whereas people can contribute to the app if you have a co-owner access as well. And if you want to see the Microsoft Dataverse, so as I said, the Dataverse will have n number of tables, which is like account. So these are all tables that is already pre-created there. So if you click on account, you'll be able to see a number of columns, which is shown here, and there will be a number of relationships as well, which will help you. So as of now, I just created an account with one of the model-driven apps, so that is being shown here. But by default, you will have a number of columns and a number of data to work with. So with that being said, let me share final. So I just want to show the Power Automate desktop. So where we have the n number of desktop applications here. And if I open one of the Power Automate desktops, like, just for, reading a CSV. So these are all the different desktop actions where you have variables and you have browser automation and you have UI automation. So you just set a variable and you can read from CSV file and whatnot. So there are a number of actions here which you can make use of it. There is also the Power Automate Machine Runtime app, which is used to register your own machine. So that's from my side. Have any questions? Please go ahead. Let me. Yep. Any questions from? Yes, Pradeep.
Yeah, hi, sir. So I understand if we are creating a Power Apps for mobile application, the end user has to download the Power Apps in their mobile also. Then they can collaborate with that. But the website you created just now, right, regarding using the Power Apps design.
Yep.
So that is also can be accessible by anyone, or is there any restrictions in order to access that website?
Yeah, the Power website, like, you can, first of all, like, it can be in for, for the mobile as well as the desktop. So there is no restriction there. And it will give you, like, a particular, it's for just creating the websites where everyone can access, right? So, if I have created a website and I have published it, so, anyone can access it as of now. So it's just a website for my customers if I'm going to give it. So there is no restriction there.
Okay, it's not like only our customers.
No, it's a normal website, like how you create a website and you send it in the cloud. So that's there.
Does that need licenses or anything for Power Apps?
Power Apps, like, not for all activities, but say for example, whatever that now I show you, so I did not require a license, but to use generic certain connectors or certain features, then we will need license for that. Say for example, I will not be able to run my flows in an unattended mode now because I don't have the proper license. So Microsoft provides a number of licensing availabilities. So we can go through that and based on that pricing, like we can choose that. Obviously, like mostly like we will have it as an organization level licensing, so that, and we have add-ons also which will be able to use, for our features.
So whatever you have shown today is like an individual account. It's It's not an organized account.
I have signed in with my CI America only, but I don't have a specific. I don't think we can have a specific license as of now, which is specific to unattended, or so we don't have a license in CI. So if so, we will have to get it and then use it.
Thank you.
So if there is any questions, I would recommend or I would suggest the next steps is to please, if not Power BI or Power Virtual Agent or Power Pages, that's fine. But Power Apps and automate, if you want to start with a quick work from home mail, or if you want to just create an app for your own personal needs or any business needs, please make use of it in your daily day-to-day life. Also, you can use that. And the certifications for the Power Platform Developer Associate or Solution Architect or Functional Consultant is has a huge weightage. So I would recommend doing it. And so with a quick recap, so we have all the Power Platform components for us with a minimal coding with a low-code approach. But if you still want the pro developers, you still want to go with a coding base, please feel free to integrate with the Azure services. All those are available, and with the coding platforms of Visual Studio, you can make use of that too. Any other questions? Thank you for joining this session.
Thank you, Sharmila, for doing this session. Let me stop recording.